So, back again today. Yeah, might check and see everything is okay. All right, so welcome back to English live stream series, and again today we're back with another episode. This episode today will be, let's say, more related to these modern days problems, modern day issues. You may see this like every day, but it is, let's say, the not really clear part that you can witness or you can see on a daily basis. However, this is an issue, an underlying issue that you can see in some type of school or some type of neighborhood, or let's say in the society. And this one is called verbal bullying. So for those of you who may have, let's say, familiar with the word bullying, you know what is verbal bullying is, and yeah. But with this live stream, we're gonna give you a clear facts or a in-depth view of this issue. So verbal bullying is the action that use word to assault or let's say to intimidate another individual or another person. So verbal bullying can leave some type of consequences or some type of side effect, some effects to the victim, and also the bully can, let's say, the bully also might suffer from some certain type of mental health problems, as well as some difficulties in their life, which leads to their action. So we're gonna find out in this live stream series today, with this live stream episode today. So please stay tuned and let's get into it. Okay, you know the word bully, right? Let me find the definition. Yes. So the bully is an action that's, let's say, browbeating person who is habitually cruel or insulted or threatening to other in some way that is to create that make that person vulnerable. And as for me, I've never been bullied in my life so far. Let's say fortunately. However, I've witnessed some of the people I know, or let's say some of the people I know, or some of the, let's say, some of the cases that are on the internet about verbal bullying. No, about bullying in general and verbal bullying to be specific. And sometimes it can be like fatal to somebody. I mean, like their words cannot kill, but in the long term, everything stack up, everything accumulates, and it will leave, let's say, a mark in that person, and that would lead that person, that would drive that person into making the wrong decision. Like it could be as fatal, you know. So mental health problem. Do you think that it can cause mental health problem? Of course. Bully, bullying or being bullied, let's say, is the main reason, or let's say one of the easiest factor or one of the easiest action that can cause one's health problem to decrease drastically. I mean, like you always live in fear and you always question yourself, what did I do wrong to deserve this? So yeah, and you constantly live in stress. So that would definitely leave some type of bad consequences on one's mental health as well as their physical health if there are any worst case happened. But of course, mental health problem will be, let's say, one one of the main effects of verbal bullying, to be specific, or bullying in general. Okay, so today we're gonna, let's say, look into what is bullying and what type are there, how many types are there, as well as some behavior of a bully. Yeah, so bully, the word bully is, let's say, a noun that used to indicate the person who assaults other people, whether it's physically or verbally. And yeah, being bullied is one of the worst case scenario that can happen to a child. Because yeah, I'm mentioning a child because the child are one of the easiest target of those bullies. And actually, when they bully the child, they didn't get anything. I mean, in some cases, yes, they do get something from it, but I mean, it's not that much, and it doesn't worth the consequences that that person have to, the victim has to endure. Okay, so let's get into the frames today. Oh, I think, let me check again. Yeah, okay. So there are different types of bully that I want to introduce for you today. But however, we're only going to mention one of them today. So bullying is yeah, as I said, is an action that let's say to assert dominance and let's say blustering or blow beating personnel who is habitually cruel or insulting or threatening to others who are weaker, smaller, or let's say in some way more vulnerable. And there are four main types of bullying. So first type, you can see on the screen, yes, physical bullying. So physical bullying means you use, let's say, you bully somebody physically. I mean, like that can be some type of violence, some type of conflict. No, I mean like not conflict, but violence. Yeah, you use your hands or use anything physical to cause physical harm to other. And verbal bullying. So the word verbal here means everything related to your speech, which is what you say. I mean, verbal related to what you say. Like verbal is an action that an, another word to describe the action of speaking. So verbal bullying means you assault somebody by your words. Social bullying in this case, social bullying is let's say to physically or verbally bully somebody, but in let's say in an organization or in a group of people. So this doesn't make more sense like the two first type of bully, two first type of bullying, I'm sorry. And the last type of bullying here would be the cyber bullying. So if some of you may have known, the word cyber is say relate to any activity that is occurred online. So cyberbullying are the another method of bullying. Instead of physically or verbally, because in this case you are in long distance from that person, from the victim. So cyberbullying using the internet, yeah, I mean, like these are pretty close to verbal bullying. Instead of talking, you actually typing your words on the internet. So cyberbullying also, let's say, leaves some remarkable effects for the victim, like about their mental health, of course. So let me get here. Get you to. All right, so in these type of bullying you see on the screen, personally, I think that cyberbullying is one of the most common type of bullying these days, because bullying usually happen amongst teenagers or kids or students. However, this type of bullying doesn't really occur. Yes, they do. It does occur with adults. However, the frequencies or the number of bully or the number of victim for adults would be less than those of the children or the kids. And cyberbullying is actually come from anywhere. I mean, like on the internet, you don't know who you're talking to. You don't know what is that, who is that person. So yeah, cyberbullying is anywhere on the internet these days. And yeah, but to be honest, cyberbullying is a very interesting topic that will be discussed later in another live stream. However, in today's live stream, we're going to talk about global bullying. Global bullying, as I said, it is a form of bullying. Make this word is a form of bullying that use words to assault or to hurt other people. So we're gonna go a look into it. So yeah, as I said, cyberbullying is one of the most common type of bullying nowadays. But if you think there should be other options, or there should be something you want to correct me about this, just leave the comment in the comment section down below, and I'll check that out real quick. Let me know about your opinion. So verbal bullying here, this is also the outline of our live stream today. So we're going to look into the definition of verbal bullying as well as the behavior, how it is, let's say, how it is exposed, and what we can witness from this behavior of the bully, as well as the boundary. So boundary here, let's say boundary, I want to make it clear between a normal argument and being a bully verbally. Okay. So yeah, because this is an outline, so when I introduce it to you, it might can be maybe a little bit difficult to understand, but when you look into the slide on that page, you will definitely understand what I'm saying. Because yeah, let's say it's a thin line boundaries between argument, a normal argument, and being a bully, right? That and verbal bullying. So you will see this slide, you will see this part, so that later on, if you have any problem or any conflict or any arguments, you just try to keep yourself down a little bit and figure out what you should do in order not to be a bully. Okay, compilations and prevention. So we're going to mention about the compilations or the consequences of verbal bullying as well as the prevention from it. And lastly, that would be the body shaming part. So body shaming, as you see that many people using this word online, so I don't think I need to explain anymore. But how body shaming is another form of verbal bullying. And body shaming like occur every day everywhere. You can see it on the internet. After somebody posts a story or post a post on their feed, and yeah, some random people just come and say like they're just giving their own opinion about somebody's appearance, and sometimes it can be very negative. That would drive the author or the owner of that post to feel guilt or some sense of guilt or some sense of, let's say, lack of confidence, you know. So body shaming, let's say I'm going to tell you that body shaming will share a little bit of compilation or some of the effects with verbal bullying, which will be mentioned later in this live stream, not promised. No worries. So let me check the website real quick. So no more so far no questions. Cool. Okay, so yes, let's get into the definition. The definition for verbal bullying, I think after I introduce it to you in the beginning part of our live stream today, I think that the grasp, let's say, general ideas of what it is, but to be more academic or to be more specific, or maybe my definition is not the same as this one. So I'm going to provide you with an Oxford definition about verbal bullying. So verbal bullying is involved in many insults, taunt, name calling and all the type of verbal abuse. And nowadays it often occurs via social media as well. So yeah, as I said, but with this part, that is why I said like verbal bullying is pretty similar to cyberbullying because now on the internet, people like they just too careless. I mean, like carefree, not careless. They're too carefree to talk whatever they want on the internet because yeah, no one know who you are. And maybe if they know, just cannot find you and let's say make a big problem for you. So you just want they just say whatever they want on the internet. And yes, somehow this type of rights will lead them to be a bully. So yeah, this is not really good at all. And as I said, verbal bullying is not limited to children in the schoolyard. Adults are often one of the worst offenders for committing vicious verbal bullying. So in this case, adults can sometimes be the bully. As you can see in some type of video or some type of movie on screen, so bullying usually happen for students or for kids who at school. However, verbal bullying can also happen for adults. I mean, like it can happen at work or it can happen at home. It can happen everywhere. So the verbal bullying should be something that the government should look on and let's say narrow down the rights of freedom talking. You know what I'm saying? Yes. And verbal bullying, regardless of the age of the bully and the bullied, can start up harmlessly enough. So which means like when you say somebody like, hey, you're fat, or like yeah, when you say, hey, you're ugly, it doesn't hurt them. Like it doesn't hurt them like you hit them. However, so that's why we call it harmless enough. But mm, in a long term, like in a long run, you will actually witness a drastic or let's say a more dramatic consequences of this issue. So it can escalate into verbal violence and cause serious harm to its victim, especially the victim's mental health. And yes, sometimes verbal bullying can lead to physical bullying also. So when verbal bullying, like when the bully doesn't satisfy with verbal bullying only, they just talking and they didn't do anything. However, sometimes maybe the victim just doesn't really care about what they said. It can turn their behavior into physical bullying. So when they feel like when they feel like they don't have the respect. I mean, like they are on a higher scale than you. They are stronger than you. They have more power than you. You are the weaker. So when they say they verbal bullying you, and you just don't care about it, so they would feel frustrated. They would feel some type of angry, and that can lead to physical bullying. So that is, let's say, worst case can happen to somebody. So yeah, here. So how it is understood, as I had said. So verbal bullying can, let's say, happen in different forms, as you can see on the screen. Can be name calling. It can be insults. So the word insults is like what I usually used from the beginning of this live stream. Insult is a remark on an action that is said or done in order to offend somebody. So in Vietnamese, it means something like xúc phạm, insults, teasing. So teasing, I mean, teasing is not limited to what is that? It just suddenly okay. Yeah, so teasing does not is not limited to, let's say, kids only, because you can see kids teasing with each other as a part of their play. However, type of teasing here would cause somebody to lose their temper, or let's say cause some negative thoughts to, and let's say negative feeling in somebody. So teasing here is another level of teasing. It's not like kids playing with each other and saying joke to each other. So no, this is teasing is a different type of insults, but in a more, let's say, in a more humorous way. You know what I'm saying? Like trêu chọc và chọc ghẹo in that way. Okay, and intimidation. Intimidation is the act of frightening or threatening somebody to, so that they will do what you want. So yeah, I mean like intimidation. If I don't under, if I'm not wrong, intimidation means, I'm going to give you an example to illustrate it. All right. So if your friends say, if you are having dinner with your friends and they ask you to, let's say, hey, let's drink one more can of beer, and but you think you had enough, so you don't say, you don't think that you can take it anymore. So intimidation means, let's say that friend will continuously ask you to bring that, and sometimes they will try to threaten you if you don't bring it. So intimidations mean thách thức in Vietnamese. Okay, and another type of verbal bullying would be about homophobic. Homophobic. Some of you might have known about this word. Some of you might have not. So homophobic is, let's say, related to the attitude of having or showing dislike toward gay people or treating them unfairly. I mean, so that is another type of discrimination. You know, discrimination. Let me type it. The discrimination is a type of behavior or type of action that to different one from the other, and actually in a negative way, you know what I'm saying? So homophobic is to discriminate gay people. So having a show is like totally or treating them unfairly. And another way, so in order to explain the word discrimination, you can understand that the white people, I'm not saying in general, but I say some, the white people usually discriminate the black people. So that would be something to fun with. Okay, so homophobic is a discrimination between sexes and genders, sex and or genders. Okay. And another, yeah, as I said, racist remark. Racist, as you think, a racist is a person who show an attitude, a bad attitude or negative attitude or behavior toward the people in another race. And like they acting like they are the superior one, or the other race is, let's say, worse than them, is not, they are the best. So that we call racist. And this usually happens between the white people and the black people in America. So this is yeah, so for those who discriminates between the whites and the black, they will call them the racist. And lastly, that would be verbal abuse. So verbal abuse here, let's say, can occur everywhere. Let me find the closest definition. As you can see, verbal abuse is a type of psychological or mental abuse that involve the use of oral between the mouth, gesture, and written language to direct a victim. And verbal abuse can include the act of harassing, labeling, or insulting somebody. Pretty much the same to the verbal bullying. Okay. Yes. And there are, let's say, there are other form of verbal bullying. As you can see, that would be condescension. Condescension is an attempt to belittle you, to make you feel bad about yourself, or you feel yourself is not good enough. So abusers' comments can be sarcastic, disdainful, or patronizing. It also make themselves superior, like they would try to lower you, to put them higher than you. What I'm saying. So yeah, let's say this example is you can hear it somewhere. However, when you hear it for the first time, you think that oh, it's fine. But when you rethink, or when you have the second thought, right? When you have the second thought, it would be something you should think about. So the example would be like this. Let me see if I can put this in simple terms so that people like you can understand. Yeah, you see that would be like some type of belittle you, like belittle you, which means to make you feel worse and to make them feel better. I mean, like they try to lower you, to put you in a lower level than them to make them superior than you. Okay, and yeah, one more example that would say, I'm sure you put a lot of effort into your makeup, but go wash it off before someone else see it. Yeah, that would be hurtful to hear that, right? Maybe like they're trying to make it as polite as possible. However, there would be some underlying meaning or underlying critics under with that sentence. So when you hear somebody say something like they're trying to be nice to you, try to have the second thought to see if there is any underlying meaning with that sentence. And another way would be degradation. So the abuser wants you to feel bad about yourself, so they try to humiliate and shame to degrade you and eat away your confidence. So yeah, degradation is an behavior or an action that used to take away your confidence. I mean, like they would try to make you feel bad about yourself. So they say there would be some people on the internet, and like mostly on the internet these days, you can see all these kind of sentences like, I mean, look at yourself. Who would date you or who would want you? When you hear like, when you heard those type of sentences, you heard, yes, of course. And do you feel lack of confidence after you hear the sentence? Yes, of course. Yes. And one more type of sentence that you may hear after somebody end their relationship, but in, let's say, in a negative way. I don't really mention a good way. So that sentence will be something like, before I came along, you were nothing. And without me, you'll be nothing again. So you see that they try to make themselves superior, and they try to persuade you that you are nothing. And while you are with them, you level up yourself. So you depend your level or your value, yes. Your value would mostly depend on their appearance in your life. But no, life doesn't work like that. You decide your own value, right? And you cannot base your value on anybody appearance or anybody, let's say, contribution to your life. So no. Okay, another method of verbal bullying would include manipulation. So manipulation is an attempt to make you feel to do something without making a direct order. And it means somebody try to tell you to do something. Now they doesn't give the direct order, right? They try to manipulate you, which means they try to control you and keep you off balance. So the example for manipulation would be like, if you do that, it proves that you don't care about your family and everyone will know it. So when you hear that sentence, you don't want to, let's say, you don't want to do that action anymore. They try to control you like verbally, and yes, one of these type of manipulation you can see in some type of relationship, I mean the toxic one. You see this type of sentence, you would do this for me if you really love me. Like I can do that for you. I can do different things for you, of course. I can do that for you also. But if I do other things, it's also mean I love you. I mean, like you do this for me if you really love me. So they try to challenge you. They try to tease you to the point that you actually have to do something. But without telling you what you should do. Like, yeah, to sum up, to wrap up this, my opinion about this manipulation thing, that somebody would be cleverly persuade you to do the thing they want without telling you to do the thing they want. They would try to use other ways of saying, as way of saying, or other speech to make you do, to control or manipulate you. Okay, so yeah, and there are many different other type of verbal bullying, but it would take a lot of time. For me to tell all of them. Yeah, and one more type of bullying, which you can see. Okay. Hello, Silis. Okay. Hello, Tiden. Thank you, Tiden, for joining the live stream today. I didn't see your comment until now. Thank you a lot. Yeah, thank you, Tiden, a lot for watching the live stream today. Really appreciate that. If you have any question about verbal bullying, just tell me, all right? Okay. Yeah, back to the live stream. Gaslighting. So gaslighting is a systematic effort to make you question your own version of events. So you can make yourself apologize for things that is aren't your fault, and it can make you more dependent on the abuser. So I mean, for example, you recall an event or an agreement or an argument, and the abuser denies that it happened at all. They may tell you that it's on your mind and you dream it or you're making it up. Or one more example is that they tell other people that you are forgetful and have emotional problem to solidify the problems, the illusion. Sorry. Good. Okay. Yes. So there are many different way of verbal bullying, but I'm just going to give you a brief example. Like some of these are let's say most familiar for you, and you can actually look it up online. You can type verbal bullying types, and you will see thousands of results on the Google, so that you can read whether you are the victim, you are or you are not the victim, or you're not the bully. You just read through it so that you will have the general idea what what verbal bullying would looks like, so that you can actually alternate your behavior, or you can adjust your behavior so that it wouldn't turn yourself. So like what you're saying, what you're trying to say, what you're trying to express wouldn't be unintentionally turn yourself into a bully. Okay, thank you. Khóa học này như thế nào? Okay, thank you, Mr. Vin, for asking questions. Please contact our fan page so that the customer service will actually help you with the courses, because we have many different type of courses for now, and they will try to interview you so that they will have the best type of pathway for you. So yeah, thank you for question. Please contact our customer service. Appreciate that. Okay, and verbal bullying can happen like everywhere. It can happen at school, at work, or at home. But as you can see, as I said, verbal bullying usually happen for kids, and yeah, but kids spend most of their days at school, right? So yeah, most of the type of bullying would occur at school, and the target or the victim are from the age range from, let's say, from 5 to 15 mostly, and sometimes it can happen at work. I mean, like your colleague can be manipulate you, can teasing you, but in a bad way, right? And maybe at home also. So when like at home, like other family members doesn't have the same view, or doesn't have the same opinion about some certain type of issue, and that will stack up into a point where they actually hate each other, And that is when verbal bullying occur in the family or at home. Okay, but yeah, these type these problem cannot be verified, so we're just gonna give a very general, very objective view about it. Okay, so as I said in the beginning of the the live stream, the boundary between an argument and being a bully is very thin. It's just like walking on that thin line. So here, let's say I will give you some type of characteristic of an argument and some type of characteristic of bullying, so that you will can actually understand clearer, have a clearer view about this problem. So if you ever found yourself in this situation, you can adjust it to be a better person. So here, an argument. So as you can see, an argument is a conversation or a discussion in which two or more people disagree or often angrily. Like you know, an argument is like when we don't have a same view on one topic, you would try to make yourself like to want to prove yourself right. You want to let's say prove something about that problem, and if involved in some of your negative emotion, yeah, in this case anger, so that would call an argument. So what makes an argument different from a bullying is that an argument, the people in an argument, they don't dissolve into name calling or personal attacks, which means like they still respect each other and they doesn't call them by name or doesn't insult anything about their personal life or personal preferences. And it doesn't happen every day. I mean, like, who wants to argue like day by day, right? So yeah, argument doesn't happen every day, and let's say the frequencies of argument and bullying would be pretty different from each other. I mean, like, there would be there would be no one who argue like 7 days a week, 8 hours a day, 365 days a year. Right? However, a bully can actually do that to you. So a bully can constantly teasing you, can constantly manipulate you for 365 days a year. That's normal. Okay. And one of you may, yeah, during an argument, one of you may yell or say something truly awful out of frustration. Like you mean, you know, like when you are super angry, when you are frustrated, you cannot control your words. So in that case, you may say something that can hurt other people. That's something that is like very awful, but it is an unusual occurrence. So it only occurs when you are very angry or when you are very upset or depressed. And after you calm yourself down, the two people on the people in an argument can actually work through it together. It's not like episodes that lasted for a long time and leave, let's say, some type of bad impression about us. And even if you cannot agree completely, you are able to compromise and move on without punishments or threat. That this is the main point that make argument different from bullying. So when two people argue with each other and they cannot reach an agreement, they would they would be able to compromise or moving on of the topic or to the problem they're having without any punishments or threat. That would make like the difference with bullying. So for bullying, they would actually threat or trying to do some negative behavior on you if they didn't reach their goals or they didn't reach their agreements upon the problem they have. Okay, an argument often a zero-sum game. So one person won't win at the detriment of the other. Okay. All right. So yeah, for verbal bullying. So here are some things you can see about verbal bullying. Verbal bullying, in you can of course understand it. It would be like worse than an argument. So verbal bullying, that like the people that try to insult or attempt to humiliate you, and then they accuse you of being an overly sensitive, or say that was a joke, or you have no sense of humor, you know. But like when you hear that, you can actually like think of something like you are the one who doesn't know to discriminate between to differentiate between joke and bullying, right? But yes, that is why, because they try to take control of you, to try to make themselves over you. So they make themselves more powerful, and they make you accept whatever they say. So like when they accuse you for being overly sensitive, or let's say that was a joke, it would be like a getaway from what they try, get away from their behavior, which is bullying in this case. And they frequently yell or scream at you for no reason. I mean, like you didn't do anything wrong, you don't have any fault, but they still try to scream and yell at you. So that is a certainly that is a sign of verbal bullying. And they try to make them you feel guilty and position themselves as a victim. So to illustrate this case, let's say we have a saying in Vietnamese is that "vừa đấm trống vừa la làng." So yes, they try to make you feel guilty, and then they try to play the victim with you also. So yeah, worst type of people possible. Okay, and they save their hurtful behavior when you're alone, but act completely different when other people are around. So let's say they would act differently and act like nothing happened, but when you are with them alone, when there is no backing, when there are no backup for you, they would also try to bully you verbally again. So that is a red flag about this. The initial disagreement set off a string of accusation and dredging up an unrelated issue to put you on defenses. So yes, there are thousands of more, let's say, thousands of other signs of verbal bullying that makes it different from arguments. But I think these are the main thing that you need to look at. Let's move on. So as I said, the effects of verbal bullying would be like drastically. And yeah, as you can see, I put just here just 5. I'm gonna mention them gradually. So firstly, it will be self-esteem, low self-esteem. So that, let's say, when you verbally bullying somebody, that absolutely will cause their self-esteem to decrease drastically. Self-esteem here is, let's say, long. Yeah, it would be say long. So low self-esteem, you make them feel guilty, you make them feel bad about themselves. So they actually they actually change their view about themselves also. And yeah, in a long term, that would actually lead to a more serious compilation that you can see like in some type of teens, they have depressions here. Yes, they will have constant depression and anxiety, and their life would be clogged up with that type of cloud. That would be they always live in fear. They would always live in worries that whether what they do is right or wrong, and yeah, they stuck in their own box. They cannot get out of it, and that would make the depression even worse, right? And yes, when somebody try to verbally bullying you, in the long run, you will create a habit to have the approval addiction. So approval addiction is that you would try to do anything, like literally anything, to please the other. as what you do to please the abuser. You know what I'm saying? You cannot have the control of your life, and you will constantly feel bad about yourself. So you're trying to do what the people said, or you're trying to follow the people's opinion in order to get the approval from them. So that is not a good, a very enjoyable way of living, right? Okay. And helplessness in, yeah, this is a type of feeling or a type of a sense of helplessness. So you, as I said, you stuck in your box and you cannot get out of it. So you feel like you're worthless. You cannot do anything to improve the situation, or to, let's say, to fix the problem you're having, or at least to adjust or change yourself so that you can actually please other people. So verbal bullying can leave drastic mental health problem to the victim. And lastly, that would be self-harm. So in this case, that is why I mentioned, like, verbal bullying doesn't do any harm, seems harmless to you at first, but in a long run, it will turn into physical bullying. So in this case, you would be the one who, the victim would be the one who actually cause harm to themselves. Self-harm in this case would be doing some stuff that are actually harmful for themselves, like taking pills, being addicted to some certain type of drugs, and yeah, that the worst case can happen would be the suicidal attempt or thoughts of death. So yes, as I said, there are many different cases of verbal bullying that actually lead to death. So I'm going to give you some example here. Mm, so that would be the suicide of Ryan. Let's say, what is his full name? Ryan Halligan. So Ryan Halligan was an American student who died by suicide at the age of 13 by being bullied by his in person and cyber, which means he was cyberly bullied and physically bullied online. So yeah. Mm, as I said, he was 13 years old. He doesn't do anything wrong, but the behavior or the acts of other can actually drive him to the end of the road, and he had to end his life. As well as another victim of this case would be the suicide of Nicola Ann Raffel. So Nicola Ann Raffel was a Scottish schoolgirl who died from suicide after enduring years of bullying because she dressed like a goth in a goth style. Goth style, which means you can see that those people who wear like rock singer. Yeah. So in this case, like, some people like having like negative opinion about this. I think they have different certain type of style. So that wouldn't be like, yeah, it would be about acceptance rather than criticizing her. And her death was on June 24th of 2001, and that would be an allegation in the bullying and his past. Okay, so yeah, there are many other example of being driven to death by the words. And lastly, that would be the decrease in academic achievement. So when somebody is like physically or verbally bullied, they would like trying to skip school, or they trying to disappear from the society. And this will, of course, lead to the decrease in the academic achievement. So yes, there are a lot more of the effects that bullying can cause, but I'm just going to mention the main ones. See? And the prevention of bullying would be not so clear and not so, let's say, not so practical, but however, better late than never, right? So yes, communication. If you are victim, try to communicate with other people so that they can know your problem, the issue you're having, and they can actually give help in time. And if you are the bystander or the witness, you also need to communicate with the victim so that they will feel less pressure and they feel less on their shoulder. Like they're carrying a lot of stress, they're carrying a lot of critics and a lot of comments, like negative comments about their appearance, about their way of life. So when you talk it out, when you share it with other people, of course, it will feel better, right? And they can understand you better also. And authority. What I mean by authority here is that using the support of the authority to stop the bullying. So when you are being bullied, just trying to inform it into the authority, maybe the police or maybe the principal if you are at school, and they will come up with some solution to help you to get you out of the situation you're having. Okay. And reports, yes. So this is should be the second step after authority. So yes, report to the authority or the one that can actually help you. And lastly, there would be okay. Lastly, there would be observe. Observe, let's say in this case, are observe, let's say in this case, are for the parents or for the bystander. So when you observe the behavior of the bully, you can actually know what is actually happened in the relationship between the bully and the victim, so that you can have better idea or you can come up with better solution or clearer path, so you can stop it and you can prevent it. But this is a part for the parents or the one who can actually help the victim, but the victim cannot observe and do anything different, right? And yeah, so that is about the bullying part, verbal bullying part. So the last part that would be about this. So can you guess what is it about? Have you ever concerned about people judging, sorry, how people judge? Yeah. No, no, that's judge, that's fine. Have you ever concerned about how people judge your appearance? I mean, like people have their mouth and they can talk whatever they want, right? But sometimes they would say something not really good about your appearance. They would try to insult you, or they would try to comment about your appearance. I mean, like different people have different preferences, and they would just try to make their opinion become superior, or they make their opinion become more important. And I wonder whether it actually affects your life. So in this case, what I want to mention about is about body shaming. So body shaming, you can see a lot on the internet these days. As I said, when you post a selfie, when you post a picture on the internet, like some people like um, some people like would like to comment in a very impolite way, say that you look very skinny, try to eat something, they didn't feed you enough or something. Okay, right? So yeah, those type of people would their behavior would call body shaming. So body shaming would be the action of practice of mocking or stigmatizing someone by making critical comments about the shape, the size, or appearance of their body. So as for me, so far I haven't got any body shaming experience. However, yeah, I also witness it from other people. Um, because yeah, I witnessed it on the internet also. So that is another form of verbal bullying, and let's say this is a smaller part or the subsidiary sub branch of verbal bullying that will be about your appearance that will call body shaming. Yes. Yeah, I see many comments on the internet saying whether somebody is too fat or too thin or too having dark skin, or let's say even worse, if they are amputated, they would make some joke about it. So that wouldn't be a good behavior. It wouldn't be something like somebody would suggest you to say or some suggest you to do, right? Okay. And yes, as you can see the illustration picture right here, Like, yeah, they would say something like, you are too fat, try to eat less, trying to exercise more. Like, if I were you, I wouldn't eat fast food that much. Or yeah, if you are too skinny, they would say something like, they didn't feed you enough. Or try to eat something more, don't starve yourself. I know it sounds very polite. However, there would be some underlying critics under it. You know, like when you hear like, you look too skinny, try to eat something more. You think that, wow, this person is actually caring for me. But hell no, that person is actually mocking you. They are mocking about your diet. They are mocking about your appearance. So that's why I said when somebody's saying something to you, try to have the second thought to see if there is underlying meaning in it. So yeah, and body shaming can happen to everybody, but I mean like the main target of body shaming I see would be occur mostly in women because women would be more sensitive or would be more focused on their appearance than male. So body shaming usually occur with the female. And when in some case, the female will feel very bad about themselves, and they can actually lead to other type of compilation will be mentioned here. So the effect of body shaming on women or on people in general would be distorted perception about one's body, causing self-doubt or low self-esteem, and a desire to isolate, which means they don't want to disappear from the community. They don't want to show up because they are not confident about their appearance. And that also lead to the development in the eating disorder like anorexia or bulimia. So I put the definition of those two terms down here. So anorexia would be a mental illness causing somebody to eat to control the amount of food they are taking in their body to, let's say, to an extreme in order to lose weight. So that would be something like not to let's say less to none not less to none food they taken in their body with the aim to lose weight as fast as possible. So we call it anorexia. And bulimia would say is a mental illness in which somebody trying to eat a lot, repeatedly eat too much in order to force themselves to vomit after that. So in that case, yeah, that would be a waste food, right? But when they eat a lot, they cannot take it anymore. They just vomit themselves out. So there wouldn't be any food in their stomach, and that would be the aim for them to lose weight, with the aim to losing weight. Okay, and mental health disorder, as I said, is pretty similar to verbal bullying. That would be depression, anxiety, or body dysmorphia. Body dysmorphia is, let's say, a mental illness, also a mental illness that will drive yourself to think that your body doesn't look good, no matter how hard you try to improve it, or no matter how hard you exercise and how strict your diet is, your body still doesn't look good. So that would be called body dysmorphia. So that would be something like lack of confidence in your appearance. And one more thing, that will be propensity for self-harming and or suicidal behavior. So yes, that will be the case I mentioned in verbal bullying also. And psychological and emotional distress, feeling embarrassed, worthless, guilty, or angry. Yes, so there are many compilations for about mental illness that verbal bullying can actually cause you, as well as body shaming can cause you. To overcome it, there are different ways that you can actually overcome the body shaming effect. So you should reframe your negative body talk, trying to think of yourself in a better version, and that would cause yourself to give yourself some more motivation rather than just being sluggish around the house, thinking that you're not good enough, your body doesn't look nice, so you just don't want to go out at all. But instead, trying to think like differently, and yeah, go to the gym, uh, have a better diet so that you can fix the problem. That would, let's say, be a more practical option rather than just thinking that yourself not good enough and accepting it. Right? And consider body functionality as well as appreciation. Take good care of yourself, of course, and surround yourself with accepting people. So, I mean, like there are many people that doesn't accept how other people is living or doesn't accept other people's lifestyle. So those type of people that not are the type of people you should eliminate from your life. You should surround yourself with people that actually can accept you, accept what you are, or accept what your appearance look like, your characteristics, right? And lastly will be the love, self-compassion. Okay, no. Okay, and lastly, here are some tips that would help you to live positively. So you should take control of your mindset, think positively, and don't let the bad thought eat you up, right? As well as exercise regularly and eat healthily. Mindfully move through your day. So when you do something, you think that you have a goal, and you will have let's say you have goals, you have the aim to make it come through, or how that action can actually help you. So you will feel more motivated, you will feel more pushed throughout the day. And yeah, you will feel your day would be much easier. You will have more motivation, you will have the goal to reach at the end of the day. And lastly will be no, not lastly. Share your issue. As I said, share your issue can actually make you feel better and put the weight off your shoulder. And lastly, there will be focus on what matters. So what doesn't really matter to your life? What doesn't affect you? You just leave it aside. Don't take everything to yourself, because the more you take in yourself, the more you feel tired, the more you have to solve, and yeah, the more on your mind. So leave mm, leave anything that doesn't have anything to do with you out of your life, so that you can focus on what actually matters to your life. Okay, so after the live stream, I hope you can have a brief idea of what is verbal bullying, how to avoid, and how to deal with it when it happens. Okay, so thank you a lot for watching the live stream, but that should be all the duration we have for today. So yeah, stay tuned. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for the next live stream on Friday. Okay, thank you a lot for joining, and thank you, Biden, for taking part in this live stream once again. See you. Stop sharing. But I'm slowly moving out of this stream. Yes.